Shalom, friends! Welcome to Orange Socks, a podcast celebrating Jewish creativity. I'm your host, Yitzchok Moully, inviting you to join me in exploring the soul of Jewish expression. Shalom, friends! Welcome to the Orange Socks podcast in a super messy, super work studio. Well used. Here with a very good friend, Anshie Kagan.
Bosh, I'm happy to call you a friend. Yes.
Yeah.
Remember how we met?
We're going to get to that soon.
Good.
Thanks for actually agreeing to this. I had to pull your arm and
Yeah, because it has to be in person. The check bounced when you. Yeah. I'm happy to help you out, man.
So
It helps both of us.
How do we meet? Do we let's tell the world that?
Was it 12 years ago? 15 years ago? You did the Chabad show in Crown Heights. That was the one with Oprah or something like that. Who spotlighted it.
Came by.
I passed by. I tried offering you artwork to put inside it.
So the premise was, it was Hasidim of color. At the time, it was Hasidim of color. We've retroactively rebranded to Hasidim with color. So Hasidim with color.
Right.
And so it was, if you define yourself as a Hasid,
which I don't,
and you have color to share, then
I didn't.
Then come display.
Right.
And I was young, naive, and headstrong. I'm like, all right, if you don't fit those categories, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
And I even offered you a picture of the Rebbe, and you said
offered
no.
me a picture of the Rebbe, and I said no because you didn't identify as a chassid.
Yeah.
Retroactively, I think that was a bad call on my part.
It set a good. You had a standard, you kept to it, and now no longer as much of a standard, Baruch Hashem. So now we can be friends.
Now we can be friends. I have no standards. That's it. I'm even willing to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, but Baruch Hashem, we did a couple shows after that, and they were fun.
We've collaborated and crossed paths many times.
You've challenged me, and I've challenged you, and that's one of the things I look forward to weekly. When you send me something on Instagram and like, okay, what do you think about flipping it in your style?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Instagram, I don't know about everyone else, but like you see some things and you think of certain people, and certain people, I don't want to bother them. Like, what do they want to hear my stuff? But I can always send you, your
not inspired. Let's do something with it.
Yeah.
Like the Stender I'm doing because of you. So, now I need you to come up with on your end to actually do something with it.
So I actually just got a call to do something like that with a Bima.
Okay.
So it's
okay. So I made a upright Stender that collapsed because of you. Now you got to make a collapsible Bima.
A collapsible Bima. So it's for a rabbi out somewhere.
Okay.
Who doesn't have a lot of space, but they want to use a shul. They want to make a shul with very minimal space and not just use, a 6-foot table.
Right. So Stender, you drop a safer, not so bad. Bima, you drop a Sefer Torah. Yeah. The engineering on that has to be correct.
I got a guy.
As long as it's not me, I'm fine with that.
But the idea was that not just to make it collapsible, but that it's a painting.
Right.
That the Bima cover is a painting, and then when it's not in use, you hang it up on the wall. Which is.
Are you taking my idea?
No, this was in the brief. This was I got a message this morning. It was like,
he wants it to be artwork on the wall.
He's saying, what do you think of? Make it multi-purpose. Make it
great.
Make it a functional, a piece of art that.
Okay.
Otherwise, then he has to store it somewhere, and he doesn't have storage for it. So if it looks nice, then it could sit on the wall.
So if it looks nice, it's somebody else doing the artwork.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got a guy. I can call Anchi. She helps me.
While I'm here, we can put it together.
Yes. So that's the thing about art. Is sometimes it's, I have a great idea, let me follow it through to the end.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, this guy called and said, hey, he needs a functional piece that fits.
That helps motivate you. There's art you want to do because you have the passion for it, and then there's art you do because somebody's paying you, and then you're like, okay, let's get it done.
Yes, but I can get into those also if it meets my criteria of what is important.
So for you do it as a full-time job, right?
Yes.
I do it as a hobby.
Right.
For me, it's more, I'd rather do what I want to do and then offer it out to the world on what I feel is finished versus commissioning a piece, can you do it for me? Like, I hold back on those. on you though, I feel like you have to do it where, well, do I have to pay for rent? Do I have to pay for mortgage or whatever it is? Kids need tuition or dental, so you kind of sell out in some aspects, and
Well,
I
we're
feel it
like
struggles.
we're 5 minutes into the podcast, and you're already accusing me of selling out.
We're friends.
This
What
is
else do you guys do? Oh, I'm sorry. I really feel like your art is. I can't say it. I can't say it. No, I have your art hanging in my house. I appreciate your earlier days than newer stuff, but it pushes you forward. The paycheck pushes you forward.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. It is. I do have to think twice when I get a call for a commission.
Right?
There's a number of things I have turned down throughout the years that just
Okay.
don't meet
The deadline.
what it. No, that don't meet how I move myself forward. I want to move
Okay.
myself forward. I have a goal of where I want to get to. Or not really, but
What is
I know
that
what
goal?
forward, I know what forward is. So right now it's pre-Hanukkah.
Right?
So I don't know if I sent you these or not, but menorahs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. How are those going?
Those are doing really well. We're in the process of selling number 8 of 8.
Are they
And
different than last year's edition or no?
yeah, yeah, they're different than last year. I mean, this one was in development for a very long time.
Okay.
I had this concept last year as a 20-foot menorah, and
You can't get that in this
you
studio.
cannot get this in the studio. You can just get the 10-foot one in the studio in two pieces.
Okay.
But I had the concept, I didn't have a buyer. I didn't have anyone who was ready to buy a 20-foot menorah
Okay.
at the price that it was set at, the price that it cost to fabricate and so on, that whole 9 yards. So I reanalyzed and I thought, okay, well, let me try a 10-foot. Maybe that's a little bit more palatable for more people. And
Okay.
the feedback was some people said 20 foot's way too tall and too expensive.
Okay.
Other people were saying 20 foot's too short. So like it was,
You'll scale up if they pay
yeah.
for it.
So I have a 32-foot concept,
Nice.
the X Monera.
Okay.
And then I took the 20-foot and made it 10-foot, and now
When you design it, do you have storage in mind? Or that's on them?
we no storage is on them, but they're all designed to come apart. They're
Okay.
all designed because all the major menorahs around the world
Yeah.
in major cities are in like serious landmarks,
Right.
and there's no way they can keep those up all year long. That's just not it's not
Understood.
practical.
But when
So
you design
therefore,
it,
when you design it, they're designed to come apart. They're designed
okay.
to come apart, at least to fit on the back of a truck. Where they store it, how they store it, that's secondary.
That's good.
But yeah, they do come apart. So, what was your question? Did I,
How's it different than last year's menorah and all
well,
that
so,
stuff?
so last year, thank God,
South Street Seaport.
that was 2 years ago.
That one was a nice one. I like that one.
Yes.
It had a more polished off look than the year prior when it was in American Dream.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was they're all different.
Hopefully this year's is more polished off than last year's.
Have you seen one in person yet?
Not yet.
All right, I gotta go take you. I'll go show
Okay.
you one. Yeah, it's this one I'm proud of.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Can't say that to people about last year's and the year before.
You know what?
You're always proud of them.
A great artist told me.
Yeah.
Um,
You love all your kids, some differently in other ways.
he's saying the painting that you're working on,
Yeah.
the piece that you're currently on, that's your baby, and that like you wouldn't sell it. One second, you wouldn't sell it for the world.
Right.
The last one, the one before that, was like, fine, here, take it. Here's a gift.
Right.
Like it becomes less. You become less emotionally attached to it.
Once you call it your baby, and what happens to all those artwork you never finish?
Okay, so
They got mature. They're a fine barrel, and you gotta wait for them to get to their full potential.
Some things take, some concepts, they sit and they sit and they sit for their right time, and then when their right
I'm
time
waiting for
shows
you to
up,
also get to your full potential.
good. Me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
together.
Yeah. I feel like I'm talking about me and my menorahs.
I totally flipped it on you.
You did. You're good.
Welcome to Pop Art Rabbi. Well, you don't hold the title anymore either.
I hold the title.
Not really. Who has a website?
You Pop Art Rabbi. You have.
Yeah,
All right.
took it from you.
That was my gift to you. Come on.
You charged me an arm and a leg. Worth every penny.
Yeah. Do you define your work as pop art?
Yes, just because there's no Jewish definition of what it is. So street art in the secular world and Jews are like, what street art? It's like, it's
Right.
not graffiti. It's not um, propaganda in any way. It's just something that there's a secular aspect, so let's call it pop art. It's not your generic scenery of Yerushalayim with Kriyas Yamsuf or something like that, or Splitting of the Sea. So yeah, pop art is the easier way. Within the last decade, got married, started adding more color into it, so it's got more of a vibe of pop art.
Right.
But you remember my older stuff, it was more not necessarily colorful. I was still practicing using colors as a um, color blocking method or something like that. Blending, I hate doing, still hate doing it.
Right.
I still, with the style I do, I feel like I can't do blending because if anything happens to a canvas, I can't match that color again and put it on to fix it.
Right.
So that's why all my art is blocking colors.
It's interesting. I never considered that, but you're right. Yeah.
Like when you
Did
do the
you?
spray paint, great,
Yeah.
one color. But if you blend those, can't fix it.
Right. But maybe you don't need to fix it. Maybe like it's just it is what it is in the moment, and there's no going back. Like, why do you?
Because I've had enough originals where it's just like there's a scuff mark or something like that, and it's just like I have a standard that I want to give to somebody. Let them scuff it up in their house, but
Right.
let me give it to them in a perfect form of some sort.
Right.
And that usually comes with blending the color and making it right. So
Right. Okay. Okay.
yeah, but
Did you study art?
so yes, only because so I had to go to college like everybody else in my family, and I chose art because it was the easiest thing for me. Not necessarily planning on doing it full time or anything like that, but if I'm going to go to college, might as well go for something that I have a chance in at least getting a degree in. So I went to Kingsborough in Brooklyn. I went to FIT in Manhattan, got a degree from them in graphic design and illustration. And then,
Were you thinking of pursuing a career
no,
in graphic design and illustration?
never. Currently, I'm in construction doing project management, but I felt like if I were to do art as a full time job, I would resent myself for it. I would end up doing artwork that would not fulfill my creativity. Do it as a hobby. Baruch Hashem, it does its own life and does its own things, but I create what I feel like I want to create and not feel like I have to sell something to get that paycheck.
Right. Right.
So that I'm sure you struggle with that also. It's like
Well, yes, but I find
payday.
if I was making my living purely selling paintings,
But that's why
I
you
wouldn't be
start
making a
doing
living.
right. But that's why you
Um,
start doing the classes and stuff like that.
right, but I'd like to think I started them because that's where I wanted to go. Like the 2017, we were both part of the 2017
Biannual.
biannual
Right.
in Jerusalem, which was inspired by the Orange Socks painting.
Right.
And she's actually coming to America. We're going to interview her, Noah Leah
No,
Cohen.
Cohen. Yep.
And they recreated, the original is 10 inches tall and 30 inches wide,
Okay.
and they recreated it 6 feet tall and however many feet
It
wide,
was
like a
like
full
a
wall.
mural
It
of
was a
some sort.
mural.
Right.
And seeing people interact with that, people wanting to like take a photo in the scene, that they're part of the scene,
Right.
that shifted in me the idea of art is something to look at, that you're just a external observer versus being like becoming a participant, wanting to become a participant.
So that's like the modern generation where Instagram and you have a mural where you take a picture in front of it or something like that. That's what
Yes,
you
yeah,
want to do.
no, no. So that led me to creating the interactive pieces, like the
Okay.
overflowing blessings,
Right.
other concepts like that, where find a way to invite the viewer into the process.
How'd you come up with overflowing blessings?
How did I come up with
Yeah.
overflowing blessings? So the beautiful thing is that it was a silk screen. I
Okay.
had the cup as an original silk screen way back, the ones that
With the
you like,
Zippo
the
lighters and
cup
yeah.
and the martini glass.
Right.
So that was the first,
When you were
like
doing pop
making
art.
it when I was doing pots. When I started with pop art,
Right.
absolutely. Um, and then the cup again showed up as like the idea of overflowing blessings. Overflowing blessings is it's just Judaism 101. Every time you make kiddush, you pour a little extra and you overflow. Havdalah, you really make sure you overflow.
Right.
So like that's just it's a thing that we do. Of course we do that. We overflow. That painting came back again. That same silk screen came back again in a piece called Overflowing Blessings, which was what I call my post pop. Like I took the silk screen as a thing, as like a grounding, piece, within the artwork,
Okay.
and then from there I could create my abstracts around it. So it's wine pouring
2D
in
to
and
3D.
and then from there, I don't know when the idea hit me. It was like, let's just make a physical cup. Let's just make a physical cup and pour paint over it.
How many iterations of a cup did you have to go to till you got to when you're at now?
It took a while. It took a while. I actually worked with an artist, Dan Gabber, who's a potter,
Cool.
and he essentially he designed the cup. I mean, I gave him all the, what I wanted.
It's got overflow. It can't
It's
get
got
caught on
overflow,
anything.
but I wanted it to be unique. I didn't want it to be, and that's also another part of this whole conversation is that, first of all, I'm not taught at all. I'm self-taught. I'm making it up as I go along.
Okay.
But for me, it's about
Well,
the end
congratulations
result.
for getting this far by
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah.
That's accomplishment.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But it's about the finished product. It's not about I created every step along the way. So yeah, I hired him to help me design my cup.
Right.
So is it my cup? Is it not my cup? It's my
A
cup.
collaboration.
Yeah, it's a collaboration, or it not even like he designed the cup and he moved on. I designed the cup. He designed the cup. I paid him for it.
So
And
is it commission? This is my specifications, or did you tell him I want you to design me a cup? Whatever you decide is what I'm going to use.
no, I mean we went through a few iterations.
So
He
it's your
showed me a few different things.
specifications.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's more your art than
yeah.
his.
Right, and I mean I've taken it and ran with it. I mean this
Right.
cup has continued. It's in six different
They're
sizes.
great.
It's interactive.
Can people buy them for gifts or no?
Yes, we are now working on mini home size.
12 inches or so?
No, even 8 inches, maybe 8-inch cup,
Nice.
as a kit
Cool.
with everything, so you can do it at home. So yeah, that's
Does it come with like a sheet of telling you bracha or here's some suggestions of what type of brachas you want mitzvahs
so
or
we're
something like
yeah
that?
we're looking at making it more pluralistic,
Cool.
beyond a Jewish audience.
Nice.
So yeah, it's about
Other
you
than a
know
becher, what are you planning on doing for Christmas? A Christmas tree, you know?
see that's the question. You like to push the envelope
Always
always.
like to push the envelope. Yes.
I Not that I don't like to push the envelope,
But
but
because you have Pop Art Rabbi in your
yes,
name, you have
yes,
to. Yes.
yeah. So where's that edge of your envelope? Where won't you go?
So
Will you do a Christmas tree?
I've
As you
done.
just asked.
So for the last I don't know 8 9 years, I've been doing a Hanukkah card for personal friends and family, and I've done Christmas trees on that. Those don't get given out to the public or anything like that. But even so, it's got, let's say, a Hanukkah, a menorah on top. It's got something that I have no problem showing my Rav. My Rebbe, the Boston Rebbe, I have no problem showing him my artwork. That's my border. If it's offensive or not sneas or not modest enough to show him, I won't do it. There are times when I did a painting on a talus. I called him up. I'm like, am I allowed to paint on a talus? He's like, is it possible? I'm like, yes, it's possible. No strings on it? No strings on it. Keep it parv. I know your art. Keep it parv.
Right.
Very neutral. Like, okay. He knows me well enough on a personal level. If I can show it to him, that's my border. Other than that, he might not get the reference, but it doesn't look offensive to him. There's that two parts to an artwork. I can look at it, think it visually nice, or like some of my art, you know the reference, and that adds an extra layer.
Right.
So for that, it's a layer that he doesn't know. He's not offended by it.
Right.
So that would be, I think, my border of where I'm not going to go too far.
So I don't know. Did I just gain respect for you or lose respect for you? Because yeah, you
I
do
hope
have an
not.
edge.
I
You
hope
have an
not.
edge to your envelope. Yeah, because you keep pushing. You keep, you know. Yes. No, it's good. It's
You have
good.
to be able to articulate what it is, and to most people, it's like, well, I don't want to hurt that one person. This is my person who I don't want to offend,
Right. Right. That's your
but I
barometer.
want to be everywhere else that people can see it and get used to it. And once you can say that there's multiple layers to an artwork, visually, there's nothing offensive to him, that's fine. The fact that he didn't get there's a movie reference or a pop culture reference, that doesn't bother me.
Right.
Because anybody who's seen that pop culture reference or something along those lines is already at a level that you can't blame me because I put in something that you shouldn't have been watching in the first place. So yeah.
Right.
So yeah, there is a very gray line that I won't try and push too far. So yeah.
Good. Good.
Yeah. But then again, I don't want to do stuff because like there are people who will like, oh, can you commission that? I'm like, it's another rabbi. Sure. Nothing offensive to a rabbi. Here's an idea. Can you do that? I'm like, can't resell it. No one other than you, people think it's offensive. People will, why'd I make it? Well, somebody commissioned it. So now, do I make it just for you and not be able to promote it as my art? Those are struggles I had in the last 2-3 years.
So you've received requests for commissions.
Do something based on this movie, let's say.
Right.
Like, I can do it for you.
Right.
I can't do it for anybody else.
And so does that become a financial question? Is it worth your time and effort if it's only for this one person? Or if you can't share it with the wider public, then what's the point?
So a lot of my art I was doing in the beginning, I was doing originals, canvas, and all that stuff. It takes up too much room, as you can see here.
Yes.
So I started going digital, and if somebody likes it, I'll paint it afterwards. So
Okay.
that saved me space and all that stuff. If I'm gonna make something, nowadays I want to be able to say that it has resale value. Could be my version of selling out, but if I'm making a one-off, I still want to be able to say it's mine. Whether I want to put it in my book or whatever it is, I want to be able to make art. I'm putting time and effort into it. I'm putting my spin on it. I want to be able to still continuously reprint it or be proud of it.
Right.
And if somebody's going to say, well, it's just for me, I most likely pass on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. It definitely is freeing that you don't, financially, it's not a financial,
Very rarely is it financial. Yeah.
And you're right. I don't have that luxury, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
At the same time, yeah, I wouldn't want the other option. I mean, I had the other option. I was working as a full-time rabbi
Right.
until, they were amazing, bosses.
Why couldn't you do
But
both?
for a while, I was doing both.
Okay.
But then it got to the point there, all my emotional energy was going to the arts, and he was hiring me for full-time commitment. He was hiring me for my soul.
Okay.
And when he gave me not an ultimatum, but he gave me a choice. You're in or you're out. Is it all or none? That's when I knew I had to do art full time. So, and really, thank God, was still, as I like to say, I pay most of my bills most of the time.
Good.
So yeah, I'm happy where I am, and you're happy where you are, and
Barksham,
that's
yes.
a good thing. It's a very good thing.
It took. I remember when we started, it was a lot different then, and now with internet, Instagram and Facebook, it was hard to figure out the marketing and all that stuff, and
Right.
trying to promote yourself. It's still a struggle, but it's a lot easier to get yourself out there on multimedia.
Yeah. We got to post more often, but yes.
Both of us suck at that.
Yeah.
But it's a great way to introduce yourself to new artists and new styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how'd you get started? Why'd you get started? You got forced, well, not forced, but you had to choose, you had to go to college, you had to
Had to
learn
get a
something.
degree. Had to get a degree and say I went to college and actually graduate with something. But art, been doing it my whole life. As earliest I can remember, I was 3, 4 years old. I took out a pen and paper and just sat down and drew what was in front of me. Sent it off to my grandmother just because like, hey, I was thinking of you. Then I had Rebbeim who were like, don't interrupt the class. Go sit, do your thing. And I would draw in class. Got to like 9th, 10th grade. I was learning Baba Basra and kind of like, okay, build your fence. And I started doing diagrams of the Gemara. And it was fun to be able to use your art while still proving that you were learning the Gemara. And you weren't interrupting. And it's like, the Rebbe's like, okay, photocopied a couple and gave it out.
That's
So it was
very
like
good.
that validated / motivated at the same time. So that was nice.
That's a good teacher.
He's a great teacher, Rabbi Sova. But it's like, okay, now you gotta keep learning.
Right.
Not every Masechta can you draw out,
Right.
so that kind of sucked.
Right.
But it motivated, and that was good. Other than that, it's just mentally made a conscious decision not to do it just for the money, and not. I want to do it as a way to get the creativity out there. It's not just, oh, can you draw flowers or something like that. Do it for myself, then sell it, as opposed to let the world dictate what I should draw.
Right.
Yeah.
What are the themes that you have explored, are exploring, and has it been kind of the same themes throughout your career so far,
It's
or
always been Jewish themed. That's the baseline. Take a secular piece of art and find a twist that's something Jewish.
right?
Find a Banksy. How can I turn it Jewish? Um, Recently been doing a bunch of rabbis just because there's the demand for it, and because I was sick and tired of seeing every house you go to, it's a photo, whether it's black and white, color. There's no art to it. Photography is great, but I'm an artist. Let's put a spin on it.
Right.
So been doing a WPAP style WAPAP. It's an Indian style based art coloring system, and Baruch Hashem, 130 plus rabbis out there and counting.
Yeah, that's
A couple of landscapes in there as well. Did the base of Migdash, did two of the Kosel. So yeah, but always a Jewish theme, and preferably something that's on the secular world that I want to see in the Jewish world.
so. Why? Just I'm gonna analyze
Go
just
for
a
it.
little bit. No, but like
Where's the alcohol?
it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Not here.
The Jewish world needs the secular. Is it the Jews who already know about the secular that they find
It's
meaning in?
I'm gonna say it's art for me and my friends. Let's word it that way. We are people who have seen movies, music, and culture of not necessarily for the right wing, ultra frum, ultra religious, but with that, we don't want the same artwork as our parents. We want something a little more modern. We want something a little more streetwise, street. It's something that we could get in a gallery that's not a Jewish gallery, but it's got a Jewish theme to it.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to fill.
Right. Well, there's the age-old classic question: what is Jewish art? Which is
If it's just a square color, yeah, you would be able to tie it into this represents a mitzvah. That's not me. It should be an obvious theme. There's a yarmulke in there. There's a rabbi in there. There's something that's obvious.
right.
That to me is what makes it Jewish.
Right. Right. No, but
There's no question what makes it Jewish on that one. He's got payas.
Right.
He's got a yarmulke.
Right.
Okay.
But you're making it contemporary. You're making it
Oh,
relevant
the
to
priest has tzitzis. He's got tzitzis on.
Right.
The question is he making a bracha or not?
Right.
Who cares? It's a priest. But
Right. Right.
But that to me is my base. It has to have a Jewish theme to it.
Right. So that's the thing. I mean, Jewish art that isn't. It comes from everywhere. I mean, what's Jewish food? Jewish food isn't Jewish food. Jewish food is the cultural foods of the lands where the Jews lived.
Right.
And, it, yes, we have a hot dish on Shabbos.
Okay.
But cholent looks very different from Eastern Europe to the Middle East.
It's chili.
Right. But Jewish art is really a reflection of
True.
what's going on at the time. So our grandparents' Jewish art was a reflection of the art going on in the secular world in Eastern, Western Europe, or whatever it is.
Right, but like Kaufman used to paint scenes of shoals,
Right.
right? Not many people are doing that nowadays.
Right.
There was a traditional, this is art, it is refined, it is timeless, it's great. It also, because they didn't have photography, this captures the scene of what it was
Right.
like to live back then.
Right.
Now, everybody has pictures and photos and video of what it is. I don't need to make that kind of art. I want to make something that's slightly different.
Right.
So
Yeah. Also, I mean, if we're going to talk about the religious Jewish art world, if we want to,
Okay.
is a lot of it seems very safe, and a lot of it is, the scenes of Jerusalem, Cave of Rachel, Rachel's tomb, a lot of, at the moment, whites and golds.
Yep.
And I think it's wonderful. On one level, it's wonderful.
But
And
everybody's doing it.
everyone's doing it.
That's why I don't want to do it.
Right. No, for sure.
Right.
For sure. I'm not doing
Not
it
maybe
either.
exactly.
I'm not doing it either.
That's why we get along.
But there's a place for it. And in today's society, like in the Jewish world today, in the
Right.
Orthodox Jewish world, it seems that people have money or coming into money or and so clothes, food, restaurants, houses. You open up an Ami magazine, a Mishpacha magazine, all the advertisements, all the people are spending money on a lot of physical things, and
Right.
we can get into the spirituality of it and how that fits in with what God wants of us in Judaism and so on. But that aside, people are discovering that, oh, it's a status symbol to have an original piece of art in your
Right.
home. And that's
And
growing.
we like those people.
We like those people. Exactly. And the fact that there's a lot of generic Jewish art going on
Yeah.
is okay because it's going to saturate the market, not just the market, but it's going to saturate the consciousness. And then there's going to be some people going, wait a second, that's not a reflection of who I am. I'm a little bit more edgy than that.
So we need to get interior designers to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Because a lot of interior designers were like, oh, I like this and I like this. I'll reuse it in every house. Same artwork in every house.
Right, or something similar. Or maybe the clients, I mean, yes, we got to get to the interior designers, but we got to get to the clients, to the just got to keep on keeping on.
Right. But if you want to skip that step of if you're hiring an interior designer to design your house, are they really asking you your opinion, or do they say this is gonna look nice?
Right.
This is what you want.
This is right. No, definitely got to get to the interior designers. At the same time, I'm moving away from painting as much as I have a mess of.
But you're still doing murals.
I'm still doing murals.
You're not doing originals. You're doing
this one is, every year I do a shofar piece. I'm not quite sure if it's in the camera or not. Every year, Erev Rosh Hashanah, I do a shofar piece. So
Right.
this is this year's 5785, and it has an IDF soldier, and it's different from previous years.
It's more polished stuff.
It's more polished stuff. What's about it's Osius. It's letters. It's specific verses about the shofar, or the blowing of the shofar, and then once I started doing it, about Israel and Hashem watching over us and Am Yisrael Chai.
But what I like about this one, like we were saying before, you blended the text. It's not just one color on each text.
Yes.
There's a lot of blending
There's a
colors
lot of blending.
here.
Right.
That's something that would annoy me because I couldn't touch it up.
So
This is something that you started playing with, though. This
Yes.
is not always what you would do.
Right, but it's already been a while since I've been put on my big boy pants and started blending.
Well, you
Please
use
God,
spray
by
paint versus paintbrushes.
Please God by you too. No, this is paint.
Yeah,
this is,
spray paint.
yes,
Ah.
yes, paint on spray paint.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm saying, like, as much as I still do paint here and there, I'm moving more into public art,
Which is great.
sculpture and public art, and partially it's because no one else is, and like it's
Fill in
not
the void.
right. I'm filling a need.
But do you enjoy it?
Oh, I love it.
Great.
Absolutely.
So why wouldn't you do more of it? Exactly.
I do. I am. I'm
Right.
trying. I'm trying as hard as I can.
It takes a lot longer to create a piece, though.
Oh, yes. I mean, if there were 2 Hanukkahs a year, I think they'd be like 6 months apart. That'd be a lot better.
So you just want to do menorahs and overflowing bechers?
I,
Bechers for Pesach, and then you got Hanukkah, and
you know what? I thought about it. Yeah, I'd like to be the menorah guy, the go-to guy for menorahs.
okay.
Like
So
post, after 120 kind of thing. Yes, that's what I would like.
so how's that pop art?
Popular culture, if you want to call it that.
No,
All right. So at some point, I'm going to have to. Yes, at some point, we'll hang up the pop art. Pop art rabbi is, as you just said about why do you define your stuff as pop art?
Right.
Is because it's accessible. People understand what
I
that
just want to
is.
make sure you're not coming back for the title.
That's okay. I got
Menorah Man on the mind.
Right. And on my websites, I mean, I have a few different domains that, I mean, different URLs that lead to one. But again, that's old news. Like today, nobody searches URLs. Nobody types in the exact
No,
URL to
no.
anything
But when they
anymore.
see sellout rabbi, they see you.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah,
The
we're back.
sellout rabbi. The
It's all how you
sellout
read it.
rabbi. There you
Has
go.
he sold out,
Well,
or
there's
is he
the
selling out?
surfing rabbi, there's the baking rabbi, there's the
You're friends with
CrossFit
most of these,
rabbi, there's an everything rabbi.
but
So
you're friends with most of them.
I am friends with most of them. But the sellout rabbi. Okay.
Has he sold out, or has he made so much he sold out?
Right. All right. So I think
It's on the emphasis.
Anchi, I think there's an art piece in there we got to create.
Yeah, I don't see a Jewish theme to it.
What
Yeah. What are we collaborating on next?
are we collaborating on next? Um,
Do we want to make them another together?
maybe. Well, this Bima cover, we can collaborate on the Bima cover. I mean, we
Sure.
already have,
Is it
you
just the
know,
cover, or is it the actual
oh, it's the whole thing. It's the whole. I think it's
So what I like about these is it's out of both of it. The engineering of it is something new to us, and that
right.
is a fun challenge on our end.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm
You're nervous.
no. I'm contemplating. I'm trying to like. I do want to make the Moully Art Synagogue collection.
Okay.
I do have, ideas. I started. I did the leather Torah cover. I
Right.
have one in here. The leather Torah cover for October 7th,
So
which
why
again
don't we
was a
break
commission.
down every item? You got in there, Talmud, you gotta make. You
Yep.
gotta make a standard, you gotta make a Sefer Torah.
Right.
We can have a pop, and then when it comes to a gallery time, you just rent out a shul that's fully decorated.
That'd be really
It'd
cool.
be amazing.
That would be cool. A gallery.
A gallery that's a functional shul.
Right.
Everything is designed
Right. Right.
neon light for Ner Tamid.
Right.
I wanted to do that for years.
Question is which shul, who's going to buy a neon light near Talmud? But you got to do it
As
anyway.
a
You
whole,
got to do it.
it's a gallery.
Right, right,
Only open during minion time.
right.
No one's going to have Kavanah because they're nonstop searching at everything else. And you can finally get artwork in there that wouldn't be appropriate necessarily for a regular shul, but because it's a pop art shul,
Right.
it's got to
The
happen in
pop
Miami.
art shul. Yeah, yeah.
In Miami during Art Basel,
Yes, yes.
we can make that happen. Now, how many people do we open up to? Send in your
You open up.
suggestions.
No, that's you see, that's a great premise. And it's the same way you have a lot of old shuls that are no longer functioning as shuls, but they've become museums,
Right,
that occasionally they have a service in. Flip that on its head, and that it's a pop art shul, the pop art synagogue,
right.
and
The wording has to be done right, but
yeah, right, something.
what would be the
But
one thing you wouldn't touch?
I can't think of anything that I wouldn't want to do. But again, it comes down to motivation. It comes
Like,
down to what is your intent.
to me, the one thing I wouldn't touch is the cloth of the Sefer Torah, but up until there, everything.
No, of course a cloth of the Sefer Torah you wouldn't touch because it doesn't.
Just
No,
clarifying.
the question is it a functional shul or is it
Yeah,
not a functional shul?
functional.
So if it's functional
That
shul, halacha is halacha.
right.
Jewish law is Jewish law. I don't even want to try to play with that. Like
Are you
that's
having fun with the mikvah or no? You want to make a mikvah?
I didn't
Because
even
that's a
think.
permanent structure. That would be fun.
Yeah, I think that's already that's 2.0. Let's get the
Okay.
shul going first. No,
There's got to be a shul nearby that we can talk to.
but I'm thinking about everything. I mean, listen, a concept that I've had that I've wanted shuls to do, and I haven't found anyone to do it with. So maybe this pop art shul, um, again, is a continuation on the theme of like my floating aleph bays and the power of every mitzvah that you do has an impact,
Okay.
that we create spiritual energy through our mitzvahs that we don't get to physically see.
So you want a projector?
No. So I want, and I have the concept. I did one. The execution was okay. It can be better for next time. But
Okay.
what I call um, Habitat for Divinity,
Okay.
right? So it's a play on the words of Habitat for Humanity. And this Habitat for Divinity, the concept was kind of recreating a glass house,
Okay.
right? Not buying a glass house that's out there, but I have my own design of a structure, and all the walls are glass, and everyone commits. Again, it's an interactive piece. Everyone commits to doing a mitzvah, wanting to do something, bring light to the world, and get a sticker in the shape of one of the alphabet,
Okay.
and then stick it on the wall. And
Okay.
through the act of everyone committing to doing a mitzvah and sticking their letter on the wall, that would transform the space from a shell,
Exposed to.
from clear glass to having color.
Didn't you do a
and
sukkah like
so-
that once?
I did a sukkah like that once at the biannual. It didn't the public didn't play with me to the way it didn't, but I haven't let go of that idea. But being able to do that in a physical space and allowing people to put their stickers anywhere
Right.
in this shul would in itself transform the shul.
Who's the artist who did that? Where there's a museum.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a museum like that.
Everybody's giving stickers,
Yeah,
and you just go
so,
crazy on a all white room.
Yeah. I forget.
Kusama, no.
Yeah, Kusama. Yeah. And her title for that is The Obliteration Room. And I hate that. I hate
It's the total opposite of
it's-
what Judaism is.
it's the term obliteration room. She means well, and she's out there, and God bless everything. But just that title bothers me. And so yes, this idea of mitzvahs everywhere, seeing her work, yeah, definitely inspired by that. But
Do you feel like
completely turning it on its head?
Do you feel like titles give an extra layer to the artwork?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Titles are very important. They're part of the artwork. What bothers me when you go to MoMA and you see an abstract piece and it goes Untitled 73. It's like, you lazy, come on. So then what's here? Listen, as the pop art rabbi, as a rabbi, as a Jew, as a religious Jew, things need to have meaning. The meaning can be very shallow, the meaning can be very deep, the meaning can be superficial, but things need to have, even if it's just joy, it's just, but things have to have some substance to them in my
So
experience.
the artwork is part of it, and then the title gives you depth and an understanding of what you're seeing.
Well, the title is part of the artwork. So, sometimes, most of the time I'm blessed that I have a title. Sometimes I struggle for titles.
Have you ever worked backwards? Title first, then the artwork?
I don't know. Maybe. Not really. I don't think so.
I've done it once. I have a piece where Waldo's praying at the Koso. There was a illustration of Waldo doing meditation, and it said Waldo finds himself. So I took that exact name. I'm like, easily, everybody goes to Israel, they go to Western Wall, they go to the Koso, and they find themselves. Like, Waldo at the Koso, Waldo finds himself, and work backwards on that one.
Right. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And yeah, the title definitely preceded the piece appropriately. And again, it's a spin on the Waldo finds himself that you saw. Yeah, so Untitled 73 doesn't
really bothers you.
It bothers me. It bothers me because it's not that just like it's up on a museum. Like this is like a standard of something. It's like, well, come on. We as a society
Can I give you a
should do
challenge?
better. Okay.
You've seen a couple of these artists who go to galleries and museums and put up their own artwork. Right? Can you just find a piece of art that's untitled, take a nameplate and put it on top of their nameplate. You're not changing the artwork, but you're putting up a nameplate over it and giving it a title.
I like that.
All the rest of the text, same artist, same date, same info.
Just
it's got a new
untitled to titled. That's
go for
fun. That's fun. I like that premise. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I got to go to the MoMA and
start
the Met.
While you're in some foreign location.
Yeah.
Smaller museum.
Okay.
You're going to Europe soon, no?
Yes.
Find a small gallery there.
Let's see if I have time in London to see anything. But yeah.
What are you doing in London?
I'm in London to do an overflowing dreidel. So I do more than just cups. A spinning overflowing dreidel.
So you want to be the Hanukkah rabbi. Not just menorah, Hanukkah.
I did it last year.
Can you dress up as the Jewish Santa Claus?
My beard's not...
it's whitening.
Working on it, yeah.
Instead of Coke, it's now Kedem or something like that. Become their spokesperson.
Yeah, exactly. Probably not.
too far for you.
Yeah, it doesn't match, where I'm trying to go.
So go for Krampus.
No, that again, public art,
Right.
is something that
Do you always wear orange socks when you do these things?
I try to, yes.
Okay, and then you got your yarmulke,
I
obviously.
got my yarmulke, yes.
Right. But this is your uniform,
More or less, yeah, yeah,
with or without the jacket, the painted shirt or not.
yeah. Well, today I'm happen to be wearing clean
You got
clothes.
dressed up for me.
I got dressed up.
I appreciate that.
I did.
Sorry I
did.
couldn't.
I knew I'm not, again, I got work to do today, but I'm not painting, so I know that
Gotcha.
even though
Yeah,
you end up with paint on everything.
I hate it.
You hate it? My wife hates it. I don't mind.
How often do you? Oh, I'm gonna be really careful.
Exactly.
The new shirt, but I'm gonna be really
I'm gonna
careful.
Be
and
really
then,
careful. And then it's like, oh, I'm not wearing it. I always, this is how my beautiful shirts become beautiful. You go like that, you wipe it on.
First world problems.
First world problems. So
Yeah.
what are some of the projects that you working on, like into the future?
There's a Seder plate I'm working on. Started it and just got to motivate myself to finish it. Partially financially, it's a piece of stone that sits flat on the table with the glass plate going up. Medrash says that you're supposed to be able to see the Seder plate from all over the table.
Right.
If it's flat on your seat in front of you, the rest of the table can't see it. So I want to have it upright. So I have to finish doing the design on that one and get it out there. Other than that, there's a couple of paintings I want to do. There's a couple of stuff I would love to do, but I can't. There are certain themes I want. Like I will never touch Besdin. It's a theme I have great ideas, but I will never put them on paper.
Why?
It just feels like there's gonna be so much backlash. How you can't touch Besdin? They're too high and mighty.
Like today's Besdin?
Yeah, today's Besdin. It's Besdin throughout the times. It's Besdin in concept, right? But I have a couple of pieces I want to do on Besdin, and that to me is too far. And off camera, I can explain to you on those, but it's just yeah. But like,
okay, I can't imagine what I don't know what you're thinking. But like Besdin is
if you get the references of it,
right,
it turns into offensive.
Okay, I get it.
And that one, I'm like, okay, but I'll sketch them out just to get it out of my head. I sketch them out, and I have a drawer full of ones that I don't let the public see.
So in the next book, we're gonna have the band,
Yeah, black cover and everything. You gotta be over 18. Totally, totally. When are you coming out with a book?
When am I coming out with a book? I don't. It's a good idea. You keep nudging me.
No problem. I will.
I should. Maybe I can hire Anshie Kagan to help me produce a book. What do you think?
You got that kind of money?
Ink.
It was self-published, and honestly, it helped motivate me and take my art seriously of some sort. That's what I think is one of the best parts. And
yeah,
what's weird about it is the average person is not looking at an art book and laughing. But because there's a lot of references that people get, I've heard a bunch of this past Shabbos. I was by a family friend, and they're like, my kids have worn out the pages because they go through it on nonstop. Nice. There's something for all ages. They get the references. Parents get references. What does this mean? Why is it like this? So, yeah.
That's good. It's good. It's great that kids are finding art relevant, meaningful and relevant. Jewish art, and so yeah, that's wild. And
we'll sponsor this week's episode of the Orange Socks. Get your book, Amazon, Anchi.com.
Yeah. This is a good book.
So yeah, it even has a piece on the back from you. What was it? Anchi, who's that?
Yeah. Yes, a quote.
Yeah. But even that's a knockoff.
Is it?
Yeah. Banksy's book.
Is it really?
The cops said they wouldn't give a quote to him, and he used that as their quote.
Oh yeah.
So we used yours, like, who's that? Okay, we'll use that also.
Okay, I didn't realize it's.
Most things are ripped off of something else.
Most things have been around. And it's a matter of
stealing it and updating it.
Yeah, and
because stealing it for stealing's sake is different.
No, elevating it. Tweaking it, making it,
changing it to make it yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Becher's those are yours. Menorahs are now yours. Hopefully, no one's knocking off your exact designs. But menorahs, it's been around for thousands of years.
Right.
So
So
you're
that's the
putting your own
thing.
twist
Like,
on it.
I'm not appropriating the menorah.
Right.
Yeah, the menorah belongs to all of us.
Right.
And then it's a matter of finding my twist, my spin, my perspective. Yeah, as
So
you and your work.
would you, when you do, there's different varieties of menorahs, right? There's Chabad straight lines. Would you
Right.
consider doing other with curves?
Yeah,
You just
absolutely.
haven't.
I have many ideas out there. Not all out there, but I have, yeah.
But
I
you
mean,
would go outside of your Chabad mindset. Anything design wise that you want to try?
the real, again, it comes down to halacha. The halacha of a menorah is 8 flames, 8 candle
Bars.
holders in a straight line. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. That's the
Equal
only
height, but
equal height.
getting there, the
Getting
straight
there,
lines, you don't care.
you can get there however you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there is, we follow the Rambam's view on how the menorah in the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash was,
Right.
and that was straight arms. So if it's just a symmetrical menorah, then I lean towards the straight arms as I have till now. But once we're talking art, then that opens up everything. So everything's possible. It's not the
So
straight arm is
easier.
a minhag, if you want to call it, even that. And making a totally wild, creative menorah with rounded whatever
If it's for art's sake,
it's
sure.
for art's sake. It's not taking away. It's not saying. It's not disagreeing with the Rambam. It's not saying that what the Rambam's. It's just.
We're
It's
being
a
clear.
different
This is interpretation.
Yeah. It's anything goes within the parameters of 8 in a straight line. However you can get there.
So would you try and change it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Give more design to it as opposed to it looks nice, it's sleek and modern, but like I want to see you struggle to get to there.
The goal is every year to produce a different menorah.
That's good.
Um,
That's a chapter in your book.
There we go. The dream is to do like a big menorah a year, like a one big one of a kind menorah, or
Okay.
2 one of a kind menorahs that, are commissioned and belong, go out there into
Permanent.
the world. Permanent, even if they come apart, but they, and then also a small,
Personal collection.
So we're exploring. The idea of a floor standing menorah
Right.
that's like 5 feet tall, that like you can just stand and light as a sculpture, as a piece of art, something that people would want to have in their home all year round,
Okay.
and also to light. That it's not just a menorah; it is a menorah, but it's a piece of art, as a floor standing sculpture.
Okay. So you got dibs on that for the show, for the
Yes,
pop art show.
for the pop art show.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an idea. Yes, more than happy to. I'm already playing. I have many drawings and of different shaped menorahs.
That's good. They're just all the ones I've seen from you are usually straight lines. So I want to know if you'll start adding curves or something like that.
We'll add curves.
Instead of using stock metal, are you actually going to start bending it?
For this one, we were cutting and welding, which was a royal pain.
Right, but
turning things 45 degrees didn't make things any easier.
But for next year, we have that skill. Now let's add on to it.
Yeah, bending. Well, yes, just like you're saying about blending. Blending colors. The second time around is a lot harder.
Yeah.
Bending metal en masse. Being able to replicate 8. In one in bended. Yeah, it's definitely possible.
The technology's out there.
Yeah, it's
trying also not to lose an arm and a leg trying to make it.
Yeah, that's the thing. People don't realize what goes into making these things.
What was it? The famous story of Picasso when somebody came over to him in the cafe and she's like, "Can you make me a piece of art?" And
Right.
he did it, and he's like, "Here, a couple $1,000." She's like, "Well, it took you only a minute to draw it," but the years of skill that I had to learn.
Right. So there's that, but that's a drawing, which once he has this skill, only took him that much amount of time.
Right.
To produce a menorah with all the engineering and all it just
But you know you cut out certain steps to get to that final.
Yeah, it takes a lot. Thank
Yeah.
God. I'm happy with it. It's interesting, being ADD as I am, wanting instant gratification. In my head, once the idea is formulated, it's done. The idea is fully baked, but it takes so long for it to finally happen that I got to hold on.
If you had your own private factory to be able to do it yourself,
Okay.
it would always be easier. But now you have to farm
But
it out.
say a painting,
Right.
you have an idea, you can paint. If you're a writer and you have an idea, you can sit down and type.
Right.
You can write a song. I'm not complaining. I'm very happy with the medium that I chose. It's just it's ironic, I suppose. But in the meantime, I do other things that are
The
quicker.
podcast.
The podcast, yes,
Yeah.
shows up every week for some reason.
Awesome.
Paintings like this, and then doing murals with schools. I got a whole lot of things going on. It keeps me.
It gives you enough outlets to use your creativity, which is good.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good. Do you take recommendations for new artists to look into?
Sure, absolutely.
A guy I found recently, Alex Greenfield in Cleveland.
Okay.
Similar style to me. I want you to look into him. He's a good style of art. Maybe have him on the podcast or something like that.
That's a good idea. I got to start asking guests who they recommend else to have on and do that live.
Yeah, like I learned from you about other artists, but that's after the podcast comes out.
Right.
While I'm on the podcast, I want to recommend.
So we do both.
Else.
I mean, the idea is it's about exploring.
It also gives you outlet of new people to have on.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you're going to run out of friends.
I've had new people. I know I've met new people because of the podcast.
That's good.
And I'm looking forward to meeting more.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Alex Greenfield.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know his handle or anything like that, but I found him. He's good.
Okay.
What else? Yeah.
There's so much else, but we both got places to be. So let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Got one more question for you.
What do I want to tell people about Orange sucks in the world and yada yada yada? Do your own thing and find your own method to do it. Find friends to help you along the way. Find frenemies along the way. Have you ever had people reach out to you? Hey, I'm starting up in the art world and I need guidance and assistance.
Yeah, occasionally.
Right. So I don't have them often, but it's like there's a limit to how far I can go with that, and I'm trying to be more open to helping them out further. Like I don't want to hold their hand too long. I want them to still get their own style. I feel like most people are like, well, this is my style, don't do it. And there's got to be a way to let them have part of your style while keeping yours, and let them run wild and let them, like you did. You start off pop art and now you start doing sculptures. I'm only going to do pop art for as long as I do it, and hopefully both of us start going our own paths. But give your secrets within range. Give your secrets along the way to new up and coming, and let's see what they do with it.
Right.
So talk to people, talk to artists, help them try and stop. Let's see. Don't put more barriers in their way. Let's go with that. Help them out. Let them know that there is a community of some sort. And yeah, pleasure doing this.
Anchi, thank
We'll do
you.
it next year maybe.
To be continued, absolutely.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
היום נעשה משהו בלתי נשכח